Cheating after having baby. Warning, some audiences may find this content disturbing. View at your own discretion. Welcome to the House of Reddit. Today, we share some recent r/confessions posted on Reddit. Cheating after having baby. I'll give you guys all the info first, starting off with the big stuff. For warning, I don't consider myself a nice guy with morals. I know what I did and what I'm currently doing is bad, and I accept all the consequences if I were to ever get caught. You can save the heat because I already accepted that I'm an asshole. So I've been in a relationship for around 4 years with my current girlfriend, who we now have a baby together. We've always kind of had on and off fights over the years, and we made a decision to have a baby because she's 38 and doesn't have much time left, and I'm 31, male. That being said, I cheated on her 4 times. With one of those 4 I don't consider cheating, since she initiated wanting to take a break and I started a whole new relationship with a British woman, which fizzled out in a matter of months due to my current girlfriend wanting to end this break that she initiated. Fast forward to maybe last year, she suggested we go to couples therapy. I agreed, and the counselor suggested we have a baby, since I know I've always wanted kids, and she placed a lot of pressure on my girlfriend to have one. We had a baby, everything was good until maybe a month or 2 after he was born. So I don't watch porn. I used to be highly addicted to it when I was younger. The reason why I mention that is because this is where the cheating in the past and currently comes into play. So we haven't had sex in months since the baby was born. I'm sexually frustrated and we have an argument about it. She says she doesn't feel sexy, so I get her a bunch of roses, chocolates, red wine, lingerie, and showered her with compliments every other day. Still no sex because she doesn't feel comfortable because of pushing a baby out. Now I get a little agitated and actually download Tinder and Bumble, and I meet a 26-year-old girl from Nepal that is living in LA, coincidentally right near where we live. I start talking to her, we go out on a date. My whole plan was to have sex, get it out of system, and then move on. We hook up the first date, but she's on her period. I wait about 4 days, I go over to her place and did the deed. Now my dilemma is, this new girl has developed feelings for me. And I actually like how she looks. She looks amazing, but I know in the back of my head, I will need to end this side relationship sooner or later, but I'm a little infatuated with her. I know she'd be talking to my girlfriend about the no sex thing, but we've had that talk maybe 4 times a week until I gave up. Also, something worth mentioning is every time we have a big fight, I usually end up cheating. With me not watching porn, no sex, and arguing, this is usually where I end up. My question is, should I continue this side relationship for the time being? And what boundaries should I put into place? I know I'm a prick, so you don't have to tell me that, but how should I discuss the no sex with my girlfriend? I'm never planning on telling her I've cheated. Those kind of secrets I take to the grave with me. I am scared of not feeling anymore. I don't feel like I have a life anymore. All I do is work, eat, sleep, repeat. When I was younger I didn't think about my future, I didn't care about it, I was too busy having fun. I have been single for almost 5 years and haven't had an actual hug in almost 2 years. Even though I have had some girlfriends in the past, but it never worked out, not because they were the problem. It's because I wanted a relationship to not feel lonely anymore. That's why they never lasted. After being single for a while, I figured out what I wanted. Not just relationship-wise, but also what kind of life I wanted. I tried connecting with people. Apparently I'm weird and socially awkward, which pushes people away. Dating was, as most people know, not easy. Going out and approaching girls never worked out. I'd get weird looks after a while, people just laughing to my face. Those things are not great for your self-esteem. Of course everyone I knew told me I should try Tinder because why not? Never had any matches except for those bots trying to send virus links. Instead of trying to focus on getting a girlfriend, I tried to just meet more people. Hoping that I would get a friendship out of it, and it worked. Became friends with this girl, we never had any romantic feelings for each other. I started to feel better, maybe things would go better having someone I could turn to and actually be 100% honest with, without being judged. That changed when she started dating a guy. She told me that things would be awkward if we would go out like we did on a regular basis, because I was a guy and didn't feel comfortable being around me anymore. Since then I lost hope. The hope of finding someone to love has gone. I've noticed that I care less and less about the people around me. I don't get emotional as much as I used to. That is probably the most scary thing. Getting excited, feeling sad, or even feeling loved are things that I haven't experienced in a while. I'm scared that I'm turning into a person that's just there, someone that has nothing to say or contribute, doesn't have a place in anyone's life. Just to be clear, I'm not suicidal or anything. I know that there are people in my life that care about me and I wouldn't do anything to upset or hurt them. They just don't know everything that's going. The advice they have given me in the past was basically to try and feel happy. I don't know how to do that. I lied about my boyfriend sexually abusing me. A few years ago, I was in a relationship with a guy I met in school. He was a year older than me and I thought he was super sweet and made me feel so much better about myself. Everything was perfect, but after a year, he began to emotionally control/abuse me and manipulate me. Anytime I'd try to leave, he'd threaten to kill himself. Since I was young, I believed him and stayed so I could talk him down. After a few more months of this, I started to stand my ground, and once he noticed, his behavior was horrific. He'd push me around, mentally and literally, and send me videos of him making out with other girls and having sex with them. He'd do this when I would act cold toward him. And again, me being dumb, I fell for it. Now, there were multiple instances around this time that he was very pushy and forceful during sex with me. I didn't say no, but I did make it clear I was uncomfortable verbally, and would tell him it's painful. When I'd say that, he'd go harder. He'd only stop if I cried. It's hard to say no to someone who has hurt you before. When we broke up, I had to change all my social media and ghost him. I tried to tell my dad that he was abusive and manipulative. He brushed it off. Eventually my family found out. I was devastated. They kept saying, "Why didn't you just leave?" I thought it was normal and such, but they almost didn't believe me that he was abusive. I told my cousin that he'd been raping me and I couldn't leave because then he'd get me pregnant. This is the lie. That way I had a reason for being trapped, since I felt no one believed in me. My dad eventually heard about this and it crushed him. He'd break down anytime my dad heard his name. He blamed himself. I feel so horrible, but I've been living with it for a while now, and I think it would hurt him more if he knew I lied and kept it from him for so long. I've never regretted saying something so dumb so much. Although I do finally feel better getting it off my chest. A note to people in abusive relationships: I know it's hard to escape in some situations, and the hard truth is, some people won't take you seriously because they don't know what it's truly like being trapped. But do what you need to do to protect yourself, and the people who question you and say, "Why didn't you just leave?" Ignore them, and don't do something you'll regret, like lying to your family. It almost feels irreversible. I'm probably poly, but I can't tell him. I got my own apartment in February. I'm 20, so this is a huge accomplishment for me. My boyfriend moved in with me about a month or two after I got it. Due to the pandemic, he didn't feel comfortable living in his college town or traveling back and forth to his hometown, and it was costing him a lot to live where he was, so I just let him move in with me. Things are great and I couldn't be happier. This is the healthiest relationship I've ever been in, and I can see myself marrying this man in the future. I genuinely want to spend my life with him. The problem is, I recently figured out I might be polyamorous. I was catching up with a friend, and it eventually ended in me speaking up about my sex life. My boyfriend is not nearly as active as me, and I'm hypersexual due to past trauma, and me reclaiming myself. My friend suggested that maybe I'm polyamorous, and that it's not either of our faults for not matching in every aspect. I brushed this off at first, but the more I thought about it, the more my heart liked the idea. I'm a person who has multiple love languages, and lots of needs that I find impossible for one person to satisfy, sexually or not. That's just what spurred this. I have several people who would love to be in a relationship with me, and likewise me with them. I love the idea of a larger support network, a circle of people I can love and be loved in so many different ways. The problem is I can't tell my boyfriend. If I do, I know that it would change our relationship forever. I know he would try to listen and understand, but I also know he wouldn't be comfortable with the idea, which I understand. I also don't want him to think he's not good enough and end up leaving me. I can't keep this to myself, but I can't tell him. Either I compartmentalize the idea of being myself to the fullest and healthiest degree, or I let it out and jeopardize my current relationship, which I couldn't bear to lose. I've decided to not tell him. He knows I'm very close and flirty with my friends, and this has never bothered him. I've decided that staying this way is fine, and that I can gain the love and support I need by being casually flirty with the people I trust. But I will always wonder what it would be like if I could truly be myself. I've never felt like this, and I'm scared. To start off, this is just something I really feel the need to write about. It's bothering me. You don't need to read if you don't want to. I have been with my boyfriend for 1 year and 8 months, it will be 9 months tomorrow. I've known him for 2 years or so, but he is the best person I've ever met. I have never gotten along with someone better than him. He is the funniest, most kind-hearted, most genuine person I know. He is my best friend, and I really can't imagine a life without this man. He is someone who was made for me, and I'm so lucky to have this. I am so in love with this man. He has stayed with me through many troubling times, and he just turned 18. I'm 17. When I was about 14, I never believed that I would ever be with someone in high school, or even in my early 20s. I was attached to someone online, who really hurt my developing brain, and I didn't think I was good enough to have anyone else. I met him in May of 2018, and I cannot thank God enough that I already have. I didn't have feelings for him at first, but they slowly developed. It's really scary, having these feelings in a day like this. I hear about couples never lasting, breaking up, divorcing, after years and years of being together. It makes me feel physically sick thinking about how this could happen to us. I know, deep down in my heart, that we have an insanely healthy relationship, and I know he feels this way about me. I need reassurance a lot because I have a severe panic disorder. He's gone camping currently, and I can't sleep. We don't have contact right now, which is fine, but I keep overthinking what if he got hurt? I know, and hope he isn't hurt, but I just feel kind of sick. I don't want to sleep. I just want him in my bed with me because I currently feel incomplete and alone. He has read it, and if he comes across this post, I may be a bit embarrassed, but I don't have many people other than him that I can rant to about this stuff. Thank you, kind people who actually read this. I hope you have a safe night and get good sleep. If you enjoy this video, please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. If you have any suggestions for future videos, please let us know in the comments below. Turn on the notifications to know when we post new videos. Thank you for coming to the House of Reddit.